Welcome to CivilNet. My guest today via Skype from Paxton, Massachusetts is Kohar Avakian. She is a sophomore at Dartmouth College and she is a student activist. Kohar has been taking part in the protests that have been taking place right across the United States following the shootings of several unarmed black males by police. Kohar, thank you for joining us.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
We found you actually in an article that appeared in the Armenian Weekly talking about the Ferguson protests, and you were right there in the center of all of that. The killing of Michael Brown triggered these riots and protests, as I said, right across the United States. Why was it important for you to be part of that?
Well, one of my favorite quotes is by Desmond Tutu. If you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. So for me, it's not really an option to be a part of the movement. It's more of a necessity. So I found it to be very important to be a part of this movement, to use my voice, to speak against this injustice, because if I don't speak, it sends the message that I don't really care. And I should be able to use my voice because of my ancestors who gave me the ability to use my voice to speak up and really fight against this injustice simply by putting my voice forward and saying that this isn't okay. Doing this because I have the ability put forth by my ancestors.
And talking about your ancestors leads me into my next question. You have a very interesting heritage, Armenian, Black, Native American, and they all come with a lot of tragedy in their history, and a lot of stories and narratives that I'm sure were passed on to you. Did that heritage, was it part of the reason you think, either consciously or subconsciously, that made you want to lend your voice to this?
It's most definitely part of it because I grew up within all three communities, and my parents stressed the importance to always speak up against injustice and to be involved. So I'm part of AYF, part of different Black and Native American communities. And like you said, it's not a secret that each of these peoples, each group of people has had a dark history of exploitation, genocide, oppression, you name it. So basically, it's a beautiful thing that I'm here right now speaking. I'm a survivor because of my ancestors. And each group of people puts a strong emphasis of honoring your ancestors with what you do today. So by speaking up today, I'm doing it for my ancestors who never really got the chance, and for future generations who may not have the chance if I don't act now. So that's the sort of message that we need to send to everyone, that we need to act now. We need to put our voices forward because some people never got the chance. And that's how I see it.
Well, that's a real beautiful sentiment. Now that you've been part of this, I mean, you're still young. I'm sure there will be many more movements ahead in your lifetime that you will be participating in. But, you know, since you're there on the ground taking part, do you feel that it is possible to have sort of like a bottom-up change, to change the sort of paradigm, the narrative that we're seeing? You know, sadly, it seems racism is still very, very much entrenched in American society, even though we see really well-known Black actors and politicians, I mean, the President of the United States, but yet sort of on a ground level, the racism is still very prevalent. So do you think that these protests were able to, you know, move a process along that will bring some kind of more tolerance?
I think that protests are necessary in sending the message, yet for me it's hard to imagine change coming from the bottom up, especially with the barriers that have been put in place, all these institutionalized and systematic barriers that keep Black and brown bodies in the United States from truly having power to change. But in this day and age, I think that it is possible to speak up and to create change in ways that we are doing today. For example, just doing this interview is a great venue, and different forms of social media make it so much easier for us to just fight injustice today, to share something, to tell people, and to educate others. So, well, I think real change won't happen until people who have had power and who still have power create the change themselves and actually improve things for people, such as the education system, our justice system, all these different systems that have been put against people in the minority. And then real change won't happen unless it happens from the top down.
Right, right. Well, you're a student of history. You're your second year, as we said, at Dartmouth College. And, you know, for the rest of the world, for decades, the United States was seen sort of as the bastion of individual rights and freedoms, of justice, of, you know, freedom of speech and media and all of these things. And yet there's been a spate of these killings, either intentionally or unintentionally, as we said, of unarmed black men primarily. Tell us, if you will, is this a recent phenomenon? Have the numbers increased, or is this just a sort of continual problem that American society is facing today?
For me, injustice doesn't go away. It simply changes forms. And I think being a history student, it's very interesting to see the way it's changed forms through history. It's definitely a continuation of this pattern. Racism and injustice lie at the core of this country, and the racist history has not gone away. It's very recent. And I wouldn't even call it history. It still happens every day. Just because we have a black president and different celebrities who happen to be black doesn't mean that, for example, Eric Garner, I don't know if you guys heard, but he's the 43-year-old who got choked on camera and there was no indictment.
Yeah, I mean, it was just incredible just to watch the images and him saying that I'm choking, and yet the police officer continuing in that position. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, Kohar Avakian, you know, I think that with young, passionate voices such as yourself, who come with, you know, a lot of, I don't want to say cultural baggage, but a lot of perhaps strength, not baggage, that you carry with you in your genes, with your Armenian, your Black, your Native American heritage. I think that the future is definitely bright. So thank you so much for taking the time and waking up quite early to talk to us here in Yerevan.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been a pleasure.
Pleasure for us as well. And I'd like to remind our viewers that my guest from Paxton, Massachusetts was student activist Kohar Avakian, a sophomore at Dartmouth College. Stay with CivilNet.